Hi, it's Josephine Beintema, and today we're going to discuss how to create a blurb. So we're breaking down the general concept of the blurb that goes on the back of your book, which tells your readers what your book is about. This blurb is usually between 150 to 300 words long, and the important thing is that it's catchy, it's concise, and that it has some key features in it, which we're going to talk about. I've made an Excel worksheet up, and I'm going to post the link of this Excel worksheet in the description of this video, and it is available for purchase for $2, and it is also not only on breaking down book blurbs, but it's also about breaking down your book covers. And I have another video to that, which you can look at when you're done this one, if you haven't seen it already. So I'm just selling it for $2. If you don't want to buy it, you don't have to. All the information is right here. So let's go to my desktop and go see the Excel sheet. So I'm just going to go through what a blurb has. You have to have your character names. You have a problem. This is usually a large issue. And then we have 2 or 3 smaller issues relating to the large issue that the character is experiencing. We have character involvement. So how do our characters know each other? And we want to create a possible solution that is relatable to these issues that they're having. So could it be what the characters need? And leave it up in the air. Don't say this is exactly how they're going to solve it. Unless, of course, you're doing nonfiction, in which case you might be talking about a person or about a specific thing. You want to define your problems and expand on your problems. You can skip your character involvement, but unless it's specifically about a person, how they solved it. And then you want to say, this is how your reader is going to solve it. You also want to include a hook, no matter whether it's nonfiction or fiction, and this is to grab the reader so that they want to know more, and it usually involves either happily ever after, solving the problem, or evoking a strong emotion. I have 2 examples here. I have Kissing Katie and Sweet Valentine, and basically, I'm not going to read the verbs. You can actually look at them afterward, but what we have here is their names written down. And then in each spot, we've got their issues. So to define the problem, he needs a face for his book tour. Why does he need a face for his book tour? Because supposedly he's a woman writer. And it's a romance book tour, and he's a manly man who is in a farming community and doesn't want to get teased. So her problems is that she needs an income. And why does she need an income? Because, well, let's face it, her car is broken and her job is precarious because she lives in a rural community where it's a depressed job market. And so she's having troubles paying her bills. The character involvement, how do they know each other? She's his brother's friend. And she's been crushing on Jackson for years. What is the possible solution? We're going to have Katie be his pen name. And she gets a pen name, therefore she gets an income. So what is the hook to this little thing? We want to say that Jackson is going to see Katie as something more than just a pen name. And for her, they're spending a lot of time together. So all these little broken bits and pieces, these small little bulletin points, we have put into our blurb. In the first 2 paragraphs of the blurb, we generally focus on these things right here. So the character involvement, we focus on the character names, we focus on their problems and expanding the problems. In the last paragraph or 2 or 3 paragraphs, you want to put in your possible solutions and your hooks. A blurb is usually between 3 to 5 paragraphs. You want them to be short, concise, and funny. So let's come over here and we're going to talk about do's and don'ts. So we do want to show what theme or genre you are writing in. So for me, I am writing in a romantic, comedy, contemporary theme or genre. You want to introduce any protagonists. So if there's any bad guys, introduce them. You want to show the main conflict. Between 150 to 300 words, you want to have a very catchy first line so that your readers are interested. So like for this one, it's Jackson Davis is in a panic. And then we explain why he's in a panic and what his problems are. And then we also talk about Katie in the second one because we're going to talk about her problems right there. And we introduce how they know each other. And then we introduce the possible solution and are hooks. So again, use a catchy first line and use very interesting language to catch the reader's attention and keep them involved. Because your blurb is your second impression. Your first impression is your actual cover. So don't repeat things and don't be too general. You've only got 150 to 300 words. Make them count. Don't do any spoilers because who wants to read it if we know the bad guy's going to die at the end? Don't use overused phrases like it was epic or once upon a time or in a world. Why? Because they're overused. Set yourself apart from them. Don't self-promote or compare yourself to other writers or books because your readers may not feel the same as you do and it could lead to bad reviews. So let's go back to Kissing Katie and talk about well, you know what? I will read it for a moment. Jackson Davis is in a panic. 7 years ago, he sent a manuscript to an editor as a joke. Now he's become a famous romance writer under the pen name J.D. Emerson, and his editor wants him to go on a tour, including an interview on a daytime talk show. The problem? He let everyone think he's a woman writer. Katie Sutton is just not making it in life. Her car is an oil-gulping rust bucket. Her hours are being reduced at the daycare center where she works, plus her rent has gone up. She's always had a crush on Jackson, her friend Trent's older brother, but he sees her as he always has, Trent's buddy. Katie might just be the perfect answer to his problems if Jackson can get her to accept a position to pose as his pen name and do the tour for him. She could be the face of his muse. From mishaps to writer's block and stage fright, Jackson and Katie are spending a lot of time together. For the first time, Jackson is really looking at Katie. What he sees makes him think of taking romance off the paper and into reality. So our hook right there is that last sentence in this particular one, taking the romance off the paper and into reality, because we're talking about a happily ever after. We've solved our problems, we've evoked some emotions, and we've also let the reader know what the book is about without giving away the entire book. We know it's a romance story, we know it's contemporary romance, and we also know that by the cover, which fits together with the blurb quite well. And we have the same thing going on in Sweet Valentine, only this one we've actually put the hook, sparks are flying, down here, and we've also put the hook, how's she going to look after these kids? Question forms, I like to put question hooks in the third paragraph rather than the last paragraph, because I know that a lot of writers put it in the last paragraph, so this just sets me apart without annoying the reader. And again, we've gone through and we've said, okay, what's Derek's, issues? What's Cynthia's issues? How do they know each other? And how are they possibly going to solve their problems? And how do we keep the reader involved? Again, it's all to do with language and starting out with the right tone. And we've left an area right here for you to put in your information and get started on your own blurb. So this just kind of breaks it down, lets you put in the bulletin points, and then you write it out from there, knowing that these things go in the first two paragraphs, and this goes in your other paragraphs. And is it a perfect formula? No. But it's a start, and it's a really great way that I break down my blurbs and how I do them. Other people do them different ways, but again, there's no perfect way to do a blurb except just to know that you're going to get sales from it. So let's go back over to Talk to Me. And again, I'm going to put this worksheet, which also comes with the covers breakdown worksheet, together. And this Excel worksheet, the link is going to be in the description. It's only $2 US dollars, and it's your choice whether you want to purchase it or not. I'm just